What's up guys, welcome back to the channel. It's me, Lazy Titan, and we have a brand new build here for Corndog ASMR. I built him his white computer here about 6 months to a year ago, and he asked me he needs a second computer for his channel, so we're going to be building him a new computer. So I'm going to quick go over what we have for parts here, and then we'll get into the build sequence. So to start off with, we have a Lian Lancool 217 wood grain case. This is a full-size case with a lot of options. Comes with an integrated RGB fan controller, some pre-installed fans. It has dual 170mm fans in the front. It's a beautiful case. I have not built in it, but I did some looking into it, and it looks like it's going to be a lot of fun to build in. Going in that, we have a Gigabyte B650 Gaming X AX V2 Wi-Fi board that will be housing a Ryzen 7 7700X with the AM5 platform. It's all going to be cooled by a Nautilus 360 ARGB all-in-one water cooler, powered by a NZXT C850 Gold power supply. Now, we're doing 16 gigs of DDR5 Ram at 6,000 speed. And then the wonderful graphics card is we picked up an RX 9060 XT, 16 gig card, 3-fan OC model. So that is going to be what he is going to be running off of for all his rendering and video games. And then on top of that, I have two inland 2 terabyte M.2 drives with 7100 megabytes per second read and 6500 megabytes per second write speeds. So those will be going in. One will have his OS, the other one will be used for content, and we will be able to add more later if that is needed. We are going to be swapping some of the fans out of this case that came pre-installed, but we're going to be leaving the 270mm in the front for extra airflow, and I don't have anything that will fit 170mm right now, so that's what we're going to do. So a little bit of change of plan there, but it's going to look great. So with all that out of the way, let's get right into the build sequence. Alright guys, so to start with, I'm going to be taking the panels off, and we are going to be getting the power supply installed here. And I'm going to show you, this one is a little bit different on how the power supply gets installed. So let's get these panels off. And I love how these panels come off. They're super easy, super simple. A little thumb screw here. And this whole panel is going to come off as well. Now this is going to be right here. Our power supply is actually going to sit in this way and bolt in here, and our plug is, it has an extension plug in here, which is hard to see because of the camera angle, but it is already pre-routed to the back of the case. Like I said, we got some beautiful, this is real wood, it's not fake, this is actual wood that Lian Lee has put on here. Absolutely beautiful. Have a nice magnetic case front here. And the same thing with the back. Nice and easy. Now, as you can see right here, this is our pre-installed RGB fan controller. So everything will plug right into here, and then we will run one cable right into the motherboard. Actually, the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to pull these two bottom case fans out and this rear exhaust fan out. Get those out of the way because we're going to be changing these out for the RS120 ARGB fans from Corsair. So these three are going to disappear. We're leaving the 270mm fans in the front. Like I said, because I don't have anything else to go in there right now, and I like the way that they are. So let's get that done. So this rear fan was actually 140 millimeters, but it does have mounting slots for a 120 millimeter fan. So we're going to be setting that aside. All right, we have our NZXT power supply here. This is a full modular power supply. We do have a zero fan function right here and our on-off switch. There's your full back I/O of the power supply. So what we're gonna do is plug that guy in. I'm gonna try. I've never installed one quite like this before. I don't really know how that works. Alright, it took me a second, but I got it figured out. This is how this is supposed to be routed. It looked funky to me, but that is correct. So let's get some screws into here. Okay, power supply is successfully installed. Now the only thing that I will say about the way that Lian did this, I do like it because it gives you wonderful easy access to all of your ports down here for your cables, but what they didn't do is they did not give us a kill switch on the back where the actual plug's at, which means if you need to kill this the power to this computer, you have to pull this panel off here and shut it off. So that's my only complaint there, but otherwise I love this because it gives easy access. It's going to make for cable management so much easier than trying to reach all the way in and around. So I like this, I really do. I just wish they had a nice little switch on the back here. So with that, let's get these other fans installed here before we get too far. So like I said, these are our RS120 ARGB fans from Corsair. We have 3 of them. These are daisy chainable, which is really nice. So as you can see, we have, I don't know if you can see it very well, we have a multiple different types of plugs on each one for the fans and the RGB in these. These are beautiful looking fans. We are going to be mounting these upside down to draw air into the case. So that will help with some airflow into the case as well. And then we will have 4 exits here and 4 intakes total on the whole case. So here's our 3 fans. We do have 2 RGB extensions, and it looks like 2 fan extensions, so that's going to work out perfect. Okay, so that's installed. That is cabled managed about as well as we're going to get due to the shortness of the fan cables. So we're going to set the case aside and we're going to get the motherboard out, get the CPU installed, the M.2 drives installed, and get our AIO prepped and ready to go. Okay, so here we have our Gigabyte B650, Gaming X AXV2. This is a AM5 socket, DDR5 Ram with Wi-Fi enabled. So let's get this pulled out here. Okay. This is quite the beefy board here. So, looks like we have one, well, let's find out. How many M.2s do we have? I think we can get 3 in here. We have 2, which gives him a little extra for a third down the road if he wants some more storage. Ooh, that one was not installed. That's a little concerning. Yes. So we have 3 that can be installed. We have 2 that we are installing. And each plate has a heat pad. So let's get those. Okay. We got the M.2s installed. Now we are going to open up our Ryzen 7 7700X. This is a 4.5 gigahertz base clock, 40 megabytes of cache, unlocked. It can max to 5.4 gigahertz. It is an 8-core, 16-thread CPU. Okay, CPU installed. Now we've got our RAM, which is G.Skill Flare X5, DDR5 at 6000 speed. We have 16 gigabytes sitting here. I lied, we have 32 gigabytes. Now what we're going to do is unclick that so we don't forget. This is a beautiful gaming series board. Pre-installed I/O, I love that. So we're going to set this aside and we're going to unbox our AIO. just like that, our motherboard is prepped and ready to go into the case. So let's get that prepped and ready to go, and we'll get on with it. Alright guys, different day, same build. So, where we left off was getting power cables ran, finish cable management, and install our GPU. And I'm sorry about the flashing, oh my goodness. There we go, that's a little better, a little more highlighted. So yeah, let's get these cables ran, and then we'll get our GPU installed, and we can do our first test boot. Okay, looks a little messy down in here, and it's simply I don't have enough cable to get over here and go straight up with the 24 pin. But for cable management wise, that's actually not too bad. Time for the RX 9060 XT 16 gig by gigabyte. Now I already did an unboxing on my TikTok of the 8 gig version, but I'll give you guys a little peek here. So brand new, sealed in bag, certified gigabyte. And here it is, the 9060 XT 16 gig. Looks pretty much the same as the 8 gig version. We have Dominate the Games, Gaming AMD Radeon. And then on this side, if I can get the glare off of it, it says Game On. This is a nice metal backplate, all in gray, with textured fan shrouds. We're going to take this little guy off here. What that is our light slider here for funsies. Okay, so we need to take off our 2 ports. Or port covers, I should say. This should be a 2-slot card. Nothing too crazy. Okay, locked in there. That's fine. Okay guys, here goes nothing. Guys, we have a successful boot. That means that all of our parts work. Awesome. Okay, so next step is going to be installing Windows, which I'm not going to show you in this video because it can be kind of a long process. If you guys want to see a video on how to install Windows, I can definitely do that. But for right now, I'm going to go do that, and then we'll be back with the final product. Alright guys, we just finished our Heaven benchmark here on Corndog ASMR's PC with the RX 9060 XT. This was done at 1080p ultra settings. I did it at 1080p because I don't have a 1440p monitor right now that I can use to be able to do this, but we averaged 335.4 frames per second. We peaked at 652, so I think that works pretty good there. So I'm going to run the Cinebench 2024 here on the CPU, get that scored down, and then we will be done with this computer completely. Alright guys, we just finished our Cinebench test here. Scored 1126 on our multi-core, and we peaked at about 73 degrees Celsius. So not too bad on the old Corsair Nautilus 360. So can't complain about that. Looks like the system's running properly and working good. So I will do some more off-camera testing, and this computer will be ready to deliver. Alright guys, all done. We have a running computer. Everything stress tested really well. Temp stayed under 75 degrees Celsius, so that's amazing. GPU performed great, CPU performed great. We've got great airflow in and out. We're going to be delivering this computer tomorrow night, but with that, that's the end of this video. Build's complete. So make sure you like, subscribe, go check out the TikTok for the shorter videos, and that should be just about everything. So thank you so much for watching. We'll see you next time, and happy gaming.